Somebody got some splaining to do because I have no idea what this is about. The Pac-12, ACC, and the Big Ten got together yesterday and said, we're going to form an alliance.
You have a deal.
The SEC sucks. They may have the best talent, the best coaches, the best teams, the most titles. Everybody likes them. Nobody respects us. But damn it, this alliance is unholy. Now, what this says is that we are going to align ourselves academically and schedule-wise. And we're going to try and freeze out the Sabinator and all those folks over.
The
Sabinator over there in the SEC. The only problem with this unholy alliance, I don't know why I'm calling it an unholy alliance, because it's a farce. It really is embarrassing. It's not contractual. There's nothing on paper. It is all on their word. They trust each other. We don't need signed contracts because we're in love. They trust each other. It's all on their honor system that they're going to try and screw the SEC as one body. And Jake, I just think there's no way this has any impact whatsoever.
Yeah, the biggest problem I have with this is there's nothing on paper. There's nothing. It's a non-binding agreement, which basically means that let's say randomly the Pac-12 doesn't want to be in this, what you're calling an unholy alliance.
Unholy alliance.
Unholy. If they want to pull out.
Okay, listen, Guy, this is a family show.
My bad. Sorry, guys.
This is a family show. Wrap it up.
Sorry, my bad. Anyway, if they want to remove themselves from the situation.
Withdraw?
Yes.
If they'd like to withdraw.
If they'd like to withdraw from the unholy alliance that doesn't exist and never happened, they can do that at any time. I just think this is a gimmick. Like, this is one of those things. To me, when I first heard of this, I was like, yeah, this is classic, Pac-12 stuff right here. This is, hey, we're gonna keep Larry Scott employed way too long, even though he's killing our conference. We're gonna get into some alliance that doesn't exist because that makes us feel a little better. We think that somehow by partnering with the Big 12 and the ACC that somehow this is going to help us. And I'm just sitting here saying at the end of the day, the SEC doesn't need any of you guys. And that's your problem. That's the problem. The SEC has done such a good job of developing brands and programs that nobody gives a damn about you at the end of the year. Seriously. When was the last time we were like, yeah, wow, man, college football playoff, who's going to be the Pac-12 team this year? Nobody gives a damn at the end of the year, and that's what this is all about. And so to me, these three conferences are going to band together and do their level best to make life difficult on the SEC, and that's just what it's going to be. And I guess I get it, but at the same time, I just can't help but feel like this is a gimmick. You're nothing's on paper, and it's the honor system. When has the honor system ever gone well, whether we're talking COVID-19 vaccines or anything else? It never goes well. So that's where I kind of come down on this whole thing.
Yeah, and listen, I think what really matters here is these institutions of higher learning and greatness all understand that college football is broken. And that's the bottom line. What this alliance shows you is that college football is completely dysfunctional and broken. And there's not a quick, easy fix for that because there's so much money being made in TV and marketing deals. It's very difficult to unwind those deals. So when you are a school like a BYU, for instance, who's trying, by all accounts, to join a P5 conference, to have a seat at the table, you're really looking at this situation, you're like, well, what the heck was that? Right? And you sip your caffeine-free, cold beverage, and you're like, I don't know what to do if we're BYU, other than let's just keep kicking ass and schedule all of these unholy alliance institutions. Because frankly, does BYU really need to join a conference if this is how conference life is going to be? And I know the knee-jerk reaction is going to be, well, Monty, they're not Utah because we eat meat and we're in the Pac-12.
That's enough of that crap.
We're going to win 10 straight. Kalani's a traitor. Yes, it is. Kalani's a traitor. Right? I get it.
Camp Kalani.
You're in a conference. But let me ask you this. who was closer to playing for a spot in the playoff last year, Utah or BYU?
Huh.
BYU had their destiny in their hands. They blew it. They lost, right? But BYU, I don't know if they need to get involved in this disaster, Jake, that is realignment right now, and
it's definitely a dumpster fire. I mean, that's what this
is.
is. I mean, it is out on the reservation. It is like, I mean, it is just a mess. And I think that the one advantage, that BYU, absolutely has in this situation is being an independent. You can schedule whoever you want. And Tom Homos, we freaking bring up every time we talk BYU athletics on this show. He's a genius at getting scheduling done, especially in the football program. I mean, the fact that, we can pull the schedule up, but the fact that, you're scheduling the likes of, LSU and, you've got all these huge programs on your schedule, like that's big. Nobody expects you to win those games. What's going to happen the one year you win those games? Uh-oh, you're in the college football playoff, and Utah's not. Funny how that works, isn't it? So yeah, right now, to me, if you're BYU, yes, you absolutely want to get into a conference, but man, it sure is nice to be sitting as an independent when all this mess is going down. I mean, I would not want to be in the Pac-12 right now or someone leading one of those schools because this is not a good look.
Yeah, and I just ask, how do you fix what's going on in college football? Because Texas and Oklahoma did what any institution would do. There is not a college football program in this country that would not accept an invitation today, right now, from the Southeast Conference. If you could get in, wouldn't you? Absolutely you would, right? And I think that's the issue, is that the mismanagement of these conferences has gone on for so long. You look at the Pac-12 alone.
Decades.
With Larry Scott and before even the current incarnation and expansion that landed Colorado and Utah into the Pac-12. You look at the way these conferences had run their business and grown their brands, they were completely incompetent. So the groundwork for the SEC to continue to grow and continue to win and continue to dominate financially and recruiting and talent and coaching and national championships and access to the national championship, that's the thing that stands out to me most. This, Jake, in my opinion, is not a new problem. I look at the Big Ten. I mean, you have one team in Ohio State that's pretty much played in the playoff as much as really anybody has.
Yeah.
And it's meant nothing to the conference because it's teams like Michigan that have been a complete disappointment. Penn State's been a complete disappointment when it comes to being a national power.
Yep.
And I understand some of that is the Sandusky situation and totally get that. But it doesn't matter why. You've either won or you haven't. And I look throughout the Big Ten and I just ask myself, who's the team that can compete with an Alabama? Because I'm telling you right now, it's not Ohio State.
No.
Not right now, it's not. And I look at the way that the SEC is coming up. The bottom half of the SEC is likely better than the top half of the Pac-12. It's just the bottom line. I mean, I look at the ACC and I understand that Trevor Lawrence and, a lot of ATN, a lot of guys are out of that program now. But Clemson's the only team in that conference, in my opinion, is just going to reload.
Yeah.
And I just don't see balance in depth. And at the end of the day, when I look at the Pac-12, it's going to be the same couple of teams. It's going to be Oregon and Washington. Arizona State and Arizona are non-factors. UCLA a non-factor. USC and Utah, this is why I say Utah needs to win a Pac-12 championship today, right now. It is imperative that happen because it brings you more money. It brings you more recruits. The Pac-12 needs something good to happen. Like they are so desperately mediocre.
Yeah.
And they've wasted so many opportunities. The Pac-12, when it expanded and Utah became part of that system, had the world by the balls, man. Like, you just felt like this thing was
amazing.
And it's never gone anywhere. And you had the Pete Carroll years at USC, rocked by scandal, torn apart.
Scandal.
Reggie Bush doesn't have a Heisman. And USC's never recovered. to Sarkeesian's alcoholism, like at Chip Kelly going to UCLA. Well, everybody's calling UCLA a dark horse. Well, dark horses don't win anything. Show me that you're a legitimate program again. Show me that Chip Kelly can do at UCLA what he did at Oregon, because he never has. And I doubt ever will. It is so frustrating to me that the Pac-12 continues to just be a ball of mediocrity.
Yeah, and I think that's just a product of a lack of leadership and good leadership. I look at this whole situation and I say, man, like, what is it, like 46 institutions are part of this alliance, right?
No, I think isn't it like 41 or something?
Yeah,
I think
it's like
40 plus institutions.
It's 40 plus institutions, and all I'm sitting here saying is, who's the one in the driver's seat? Because when you've got too many cooks in the kitchen, you never end up cooking anything. You never end up getting anything done because there's too many opinions on what should be done. And to me, that's what this is. It's almost like these schools came together and said, well, the SEC made their move. We don't have a move. We're screwed. So why don't we just put together a fake alliance as though we're a bunch of friends sitting in a treehouse, and we'll just call that a day. Like, that's what this is to me. And I don't mean to be harsh on this, but at the end of the day, what really is this? Like, this is nothing that you don't have. Okay, you're going to help each other. Weren't you already doing that? Weren't you already under the radar trying to schedule against, like to avoid the SEC? Weren't you already trying to outperform that conference?
But again, haven't we changed the way that college football works scheduling-wise? Why does BYU schedule the way they schedule? Why did BYU leave the mountain? Because there was no promised land at the end of the rainbow, staying in the mountain.
But I think BYU's scheduling advantage is what these conferences want to be. They want to have, the best schedules in the nation. And the only way to do that
is that true, though? Wait, hold, and I'm not, hang on one second. When you say they want to have the best schedules in the nation.
Yeah. I think they do.
So you're saying if you want the best schedules in the nation, you're going to form an alliance against the SEC? Don't you need the SEC? If you're Clemson, don't you need access to Georgia and Alabama?
I mean, you would think, yeah, but at the end of the day, that's not like.
Have we already forgotten the times when Pete Carroll took his USC Trojans to Auburn? Have we forgotten the kickoff classics every year where USC, as a national title favorite, would go out east and beat somebody's ass?
Yes, I think a lot of people have forgot about that time. Yes.
Because I'm telling you, this Unholy Alliance, this BS that happened yesterday, which, by the way, again, isn't a contract. They're doing it on the honor system. We trust each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they all say until they don't trust each other anymore.
Y'all about to fuck this up.
Yeah, if they ever trusted each other. You're building an alliance that's going to damage any opportunity you have to really play for a national championship. Because at the end of the day, most of these institutions have schedules for 5 to 7 years built out. You have a hole here or a hole there. Okay, I can fill that gap with a BYU, a Notre Dame. How do you think that BYU ends up playing Notre Dame, Miami? All these Pac-12 teams every year. You think that's an accident? That's relationships. If you don't have a relationship with Nick Saban at Alabama, with Kirby Smart at Georgia, if you can't schedule Florida and the top teams in the Southeast Conference.
Didn't they just schedule Miami as well?
Yes. Just don't play football. Because if you think you're going to be good enough scheduling Georgia Tech every year, ask Notre Dame how that works out. If you think you're going to be good enough scheduling, at least at this point we get Oregon State, the Beavers. Okay, great. The Beavers are coming to Atlanta to play Georgia Tech? Yeah, hey, let me make sure I don't fucking watch that game. Right? I'm not watching that. I'm like, are you kidding? This alliance is a joke. Yeah, this alliance is a joke. This alliance is a joke. So how do you fix it?
Yeah, I think this question, when you really start to boil this down, is like, what is on the whole, including the SEC, nationwide, what does the NCAA have to do to bring all these institutions together and make a more seamless system? Because that's always been my issue with college football. I feel like every single year, the usual suspects are in the college football playoff, and you've got all these other schools nationwide who never even have a sniff, And to me, it's like you're saying, oh my God, Alabama is the best team in the country, and they won a national championship, and they haven't played even a quarter of the teams in the country. Yet we're crowning them national champions, and that's the issue I've always had. I can't for the life of me understand why we get what is it, 64 teams in the bracket in March Madness, isn't it? You get all these teams in March Madness who are playing all year long to get into some massive tournament to try to win a national championship. At least then I can say, wow, cool. Nowhereville University had a chance. Now, they weren't good enough. They didn't get the job done.
Steph Curry at Davidson had a chance because in basketball, one guy can win the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
In football, you've got 8,671 recruits that you have to develop, train. This is never going to work, man. If you want to talk about fixing college football, you need conference expansion. You need more teams to have access to the national championship, and you need kids to continue making money.
Yeah.
It is that simple. Because if teams like BYU does not have access to the national championship, because let's be honest, even if you're in a P5, if a team like BYU has more access to the national championship than Oregon State, Arizona, think of the bottom feeders. Does BYU, this is a legitimate question. I'm not trying to play the rivalry or, red versus blue. Doesn't BYU have just as much access to the national championship as Utah?
Yes.
The road's much more difficult. The process is much more difficult.
But they have access.
But BYU's got just as much access, right? Now, what they have to do to get that access is kind of a ball breaker. You got to schedule up and beat everybody, which is almost impossible to do when you play the schedule BYU does. But if candies and nuts and my aunt were my uncle, how easy is it for Utah to go undefeated in the Pac-12?
Apparently, it's easier.
Yeah, well, easier, but not very easy.
Yeah.
Or they'd have done it already.
Yeah.
Right? What I'm saying is it's not easy to win a conference championship, and it's not easy to go undefeated as an independent. And my point is that you, again, have to recognize the Pac-12 has very little clout in college sports.
Yeah.
They've been terrible at basketball for how many years now? I mean, the Pac-12 is an incredible disappointment. If we're
year after year.
And honest to goodness, if we're being really honest about the Pac-12, what have they done that's been oh, man, whew, look at the Pac-12. That swimming championship.
They compete in baseball a little bit, but nobody pays attention to baseball. It's not a big revenue generator.
We care about basketball and football.
Yeah.
And when soccer's on and, Greg Wrubell's calling BYU soccer games, all right, cool, man. All right. Yeah. When's football start? Right? That's who we are. That's who we are, man.
Yeah.
And the Pac-12 has been a huge disappointment.
Yes.
They frankly, anybody outside of the SEC and a couple of teams here and there, Clemson, Florida State for a minute.
Nah.
But other than that, I just look up and down the landscape of college football. This ain't rocket science.
No. It's not.
It is as simple as the SEC is what everybody wants to be, and nobody knows how to get there.
Yep.
So let's get some of your comments because we always appreciate you guys participating in the show. Brylark, James Knight, Edgar Garcia, what's up? Ricky Martinez says, I'm a be D1 quarterback for Clemson. Okay, Ricky, good luck. Let us know how that goes. Make sure you do lots of squats, all right? Okay, cool. Cody Strickland says Biden handling Afghanistan situation is horse poop. Well, they have.
Afghanistan.
Yeah, haven't they rescued 70,000 people and there hasn't been one single American death?
Afghanistan.
That's terrible. I'm not saying that Joe Biden's gotten this right, but no, we'll talk about this at the. Cody?
Afghanistan.
Cody?
We've talked about this.
Behave.
fire and fury.
Spencer Morgan says the NCAA needs to be dissolved. Don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Cody says, anyway, good morning. Good morning to you too. Neville93 says, what's new on the Jazz? Nothing, except they have the easiest schedule in the NBA this coming season. Other than that, nothing. Giggity says, morning, boys. Giggity, how are you?
Hello.
Muhammad Amira says, that's the best argument ever that BYU controls their seeding. They wouldn't make it to the playoffs with their stupid schedule. Okay, so let me get this right.
This is too easy.
Anyway, good to see you, Muhammad.
You know.
What do you mean they're stupid? Dude, they have one of the best schedules in the country. If you're an independent and you want a seat at the table...
The big kids club.
Yeah, you want to be in the cool kids club where you get to, like, make money and stuff? You probably need to schedule the schedule that BYU has.
Is that a real question?
Now, you might want to recruit and develop your talent as well, which when they have 61 quarterbacks competing to start at BYU, what? It is. They have 61 quarterbacks. You know, when Jaron Hall's about to win that job, it's Jaron Hall and everybody else.
No, it's not. Baylor Romney. Now.
Baylor Romney. You stop it. Anyway, the point is, when Jaron Hall wins that job and it's announced today or tomorrow, because the leaks are going to happen, please.
Ask Charlie Brewer.
Well, according to Witt, he hasn't, you know, I've told everybody else about the media.
Yeah, everybody knows, and, you know, hey, Coach, what was the reaction in the locker room? Well, all the guys, they got behind the starter.
Supportive. Yeah.
They're supportive, and, you know, it's very businesslike.
Yeah, there was a coup. Everybody wanted Cam Phoenix Rising
Yeah.
to win the job. They hate me, and I'm going to resign. What did you... Okay, what was the reaction in the locker room? Oh, the kids were pissed, you know.
Yeah, I like football season and all the things that go with it.
You know. That answer is so good for everything. Hey, Coach Witt, who's your starting quarterback?
Yeah, I like football season and all the things that go with it.
Hey, Coach, what are your thoughts on Afghanistan?
Yeah, I like football season and all the things that go with it.
Why would you ask him what the kids' reaction was? Oh, they were pissed. You know, things got broken, chairs were thrown. It was really, I was quite disappointed in all the young men in that room, and we had to cut some players too.
Listen, we're in a strange time.
You know, what did you think he was going to say? This is what, and again, this is not exclusive to Salt Lake City, but like, do you not have the fortitude to ask a question of, well, hey, Coach, the question that everybody should be asking is, all right, well, you're going to announce a depth chart on Thursday. You're going to release it. What is the significance of doing that Thursday instead of today?
Yeah, I like football season and all the things that go with it.
That's the question you probably should be asking. Like, not, oh, how'd the kids react? Well, they were great, and everybody walked up to Charlie. I mean, the guy that is the starting quarterback, and patted him on the back. And, you know, we sang Kumbaya as well. It was a real heartfelt moment.
Until one of us passes the fuck out.
Anyway, I'll stop.